What bothered me the most about the Micheal Bay Transformer movies is that they've always been these soulless action spectacles that never seem to really care about the Transformers. And while Bumblebee was a surprising breath of fresh air, the latest Transformers movie, Rise of the Beasts, is still making the same mistakes that have been plaguing the franchise for years. This movie's main selling point is the introduction of the Maximals, another species of Transformers that turn into animals instead of vehicles. Now you'd think this would be a gimmick, but the Maximals actually originate from an old spin-off show called Beast Wars. This is something I can see being exciting for longtime fans, since it looks like the franchise is attempting to explore new ground and expand the live-action Transformer universe. However, as someone who's not familiar with the Beast Wars cartoon, I don't think this movie did a good job at highlighting what makes the Maximals distinct from the regular group of Autobots. You can tell how badly they were sidelined because some of the main characters from the original show barely even have any lines. Rhinox and Cheetor are pretty much mute for the entire movie, Optimus Primal feels like just another version of Optimus Prime, and Michelle Yeoh's Erasor is just an exposition machine. Unfortunately, like in most Transformers movies, a lot of screen time is given to the human characters, the main ones being Noah and Elena. Noah especially gets so much unnecessary backstory that it oddly makes him overshadow the Maximals. Light spoilers here, but there's this one moment that especially annoyed me, and it's during the final battle when Optimus Prime decides to sacrifice himself to save the world. It's heroic, it's great, but then suddenly he gets saved by Noah, who's basically wearing a Transformers version of an Iron Man suit. And I feel like that just makes Noah seem like the real hero of the movie. I do like the whole Iron Man suit idea because it does allow the humans to actually be able to fight alongside the Transformers, but again, I feel like this movie should have focused more on the relationship between the Autobots and Maximals. To better illustrate what I'm saying, if the poster for this movie sized the characters based on their importance, realistically, the humans would be up here and the Maximals would be down here. I really don't get why they always try so hard to shoehorn some sort of human subplot in the middle of these films. It reminds me of that scene in Dark of the Moon when they tried to connect the Transformers lore to parts of American history. It's like the writers are just making more work for themselves. Can you imagine what one of these movies would look like if the plot didn't take place solely on Earth for once? Bumblebee did give us a taste with that one great intro scene on Cybertron, but when are we ever going to go back to that? It leaves me wondering why these movies always choose to limit themselves to places on Earth. I mean, damn, the final battle, while awesome, looked so visually bland. The story in Rise of the Beasts is also pretty lazy and repetitive. Again, like most Transformer movies, this is basically just one big hunt for a MacGuffin that will activate some doomsday device. This is a simple plot that can be done right, but what kills it is the huge amount of plot conveniences. It's like at first the Autobots have to go get this key, so they go after it, they fight, and the villains take it. Then they tell us that that was only half the key, and that the other half is somewhere else. So then they go after that half, they fight, and then the villains take it again. So now they're screwed, right? Well, no, actually, because the Maximals then say that there's actually a code that will turn the Doomsday Machine off. It's like, for once, can the writers tell a story that doesn't just feel like filler in between the cool action scenes? I will say those action set pieces were pretty fun to watch, though. Believe it or not, this movie does improve a lot on some aspects of the Micheal Bay films. For one, I like that we don't always see the fights from a human's perspective, and that it's a lot more visually clear what's going on. The final battle especially was pretty crowd-pleasing. It definitely had an Avengers vibe to it with a lot of cool choreography and fun character moments mixed in. I'm also a fan of the more simplistic designs of the Transformers that more closely reflect the look of the animations. So yeah, overall, Rise of the Beasts is still not a movie I'd recommend to a lot of people, but it's also not complete garbage like the last few mainline films. There is a tease at the end for what's to come, and if it actually happens, I'll definitely be interested to see what they do with it moving forward. I'm glad that they're at least planning on experimenting with new concepts and characters so that we don't feel like we're watching the same movie over and over again. So let's just hope Rise of the Beast is just a stepping stone for a bright future for the franchise.